All right, so Prime Creator has said that the way we are meant to ground now has changed. So I don't know if we're on a new timeline or what's happened, but I'm going to ask and we'll see what information we can get. Yes, dear ones, indeed, the way that grounding works for each being is now shifted. And this is because there has been a reset in the energies. I will call it a reset because it is not necessarily a timeline shift, but many people have been reset in their timeline, which means that they are bringing different frequencies into their current timeline. And this has to do with the way many beings are now being multidimensionally activated. So depending on the being, depending on the multidimensional activation they have experienced, is how you are meant to ground. So this gets a bit complicated because it is not a one size fits all. In other words, in your past paradigm, there was grounding from the root, grounding from the feet, or the pelvis or the hips, etc. It was very much a bottom down type of understanding. Now, the new paradigm is, depending on where you have been activated in the multidimensional realms, this is your grounding point, or you may have several grounding points. And this can change as you move through your multidimensional activations. So this channel is asking, how will someone know where they need to ground? You will know where you need to ground based on what you feel in your body. So it does require self-awareness. It does require tuning into body sensations, feelings within your body, the understanding of what your body is doing, what your body needs. Many beings will be now grounding through their hearts. And many beings will also be grounding through their solar plexus as they are activating their power in the multidimensional realms. Some beings will ground through their crowns or even through their third eye. Some beings will ground through their voice. And again, some will be grounding through several different parts of their body. Now, I have not listed all of the grounding places. I am just sharing these as examples of possibilities. So it is very important that humans develop the skills to listen to their bodies so that they can understand where their grounding points are, or where their grounding point is. In most cases, there will be a predominant grounding point, But for those of you who are very multidimensionally activated and you have been working with this for quite some time, you will not have one predominant grounding point. This channel is asking, how then does someone ground if there is not one predominant grounding point? It will be a very diffuse sense of grounding back to source. And it is an embodiment of source energy that will ground you. So, for example, say your predominant grounding point is through your heart. What you will do is you will focus on your heart and grounding that into the core of Mother Earth. Say you are someone who is at the point in your journey where you are grounding to source. What you will do instead of grounding to the core of Mother Earth is you will invite source into your body. And this will be what grounds you. There is no longer a line from one place to the other, so to speak. In other words, in the example with your heart, there is maybe you envision a line from your heart to the core of Mother Earth to ground you. But in the case of grounding with source, there is not a line to source. It is gathering source energy from all around you, above, below, in front and back, all encompassing all around you, inviting that energy into the core of your being. This will feel a bit different than what you are used to. And I invite you, dear ones, to carefully and honestly assess where you are in the journey. There is no right or wrong or better or worse. It is simply that different beings are at different places in their journey. And there's no comparing to another person. Be honest with yourself of where you are.
Is that grounding with a copper wire to the power outlet to the earth, is that still effective?
This does depend on the being. This does depend on the human and what that person needs. So, as an example, someone who is embodying source and grounding that way, this will have some helpful effect, as it will help that person stay connected with Earth. There is still a reason why you are here on this planet. It will be an anchoring, so to speak, for that person. But it will not have the same effect that it would have had in the past. Remember that you are bringing frequencies from your multidimensional aspects now into this human incarnation. You are raising your frequencies at an exponential rate now. And this applies to all who are receiving these frequencies, whether consciously or subconsciously. You are raising your frequencies at an exponential rate. And so what used to work for you may no longer be relevant. This includes grounding, this includes food, this includes body movement and exercise, this includes the way you think, the way you process emotions, this includes everything. And so, although we are talking about grounding, I will also say that this applies to all areas of your existence. And so be flexible and open in your minds to experience life in a different way.
Would we be able to verbally ask our higher selves and I am presence to give us a feeling, a tingling sensation where our chakra is now, new chakra is that we're grounding? Can we verbally do that and then just sit and feel it?
Yes,
Thanks.
everyone. This is a beautiful question. Thank you for asking this. Yes, you can always ask your body and your I am presence, your guides, your guidance to give you physical sensations, to give you information in a tangible way. Your body is a container of information. It is a vessel of information. So you can always ask your body to give you experiences, sensations, feelings, so that you know what you are working with. And I will further clarify that these grounding points that I am speaking of, they are not necessarily chakras as you have traditionally understood what chakras are, but these grounding points are any areas in your body. It could be your cellular matrix. It could be your spine. It could be energy that moves through your spine or your body. So do not limit yourself in your mind to think of these grounding points as chakra locations. Now, I understand that I did give examples that were chakras, but to expand on this, that a grounding point does not need to be a chakra.
Could a grounding point be possibly in association or just connected to an inanimate object like a desk, for example?
No, this is not quite what we are speaking of here. It is a point located within your body or within your etheric or energetic auric field.
So thank you for clarifying that. Just a little bit more. So maybe not a desk, but say we're out in nature. Obviously, we ground with nature. Could we do something with like a tree, like connect to something that's living, that's connected to our etheric or energetic bodies?
This can be of support,
Okay.
but this is not this is not the anchoring point. Again, in the old paradigm, these external things were of more assistance. Sitting on a rock, hugging a tree, using things in nature to support your grounding or your anchoring. But it is now coming from within you, whether it is your multidimensional aspect or something physical in your body. It is now more embodied, I will say.
Is there a phrase or a mantra or something? I'm used to sitting on the ground, and I have a visualization process, and I can still do that. But when I start thinking about multidimensional aspects, I feel like I need to ask. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but is there something that we can say to sort of initiate this new grounding process?
Yes, thank you, dear one. You can ask your body, how does it feel to be grounded. Body, where is my current grounding point? Or where are my current grounding points? And then breathe and feel what your body does, what your body says. You can also ask your I am presence the same questions, but it is very effective to ask your body directly, as there is no middleman when you ask your body directly.
Creator, this new grounding process is when it is shared with the earth, does it expand into the light grid and the crystals more effectively than maybe the other way we grounded?
Yes, it is not necessarily more than the other way you grounded, but it is more because of the new frequencies that you are bringing. These frequencies that you are now embodying multidimensionally are amplifying whatever you have done before. Does this answer your question, dear one?
Yes. So when we do this new way of grounding, we can actually feel, sense, see, and know that all of the earth is lit up. All of the earth, and it's also going to help the young people to awaken with these new energies.
Yes, dear one. And this depends upon your wiring, whether you feel, sense, see, feel, or know this. Not everyone has the same receptors open and working. But rest assured, whether you feel it, sense it, know it, or not, that you are assisting. It is this way with any inner work that you do, any expansive work that you do on yourself. Whenever you work on yourself, you are setting templates to assist others and planet Earth herself and the animals and plants, etc. So you may feel and sense this, that you are assisting, or you may not. If you do not sense this, do not worry, dear ones, you are still assisting.
I imagine grounding with the feet to the center of the earth a couple times. I just imagined either with the head or crown chakra, just to connect to the great central sun. Was that pretty much like a grounding? I didn't say grounding at that time, just connect to the great central sun.
Connection is different than grounding, dear one. Give me a moment with this child, please. Connection is sometimes an activation. It is sometimes a movement of energy. But grounding, as I am speaking of now, is an embodiment. So just because you connect to something does not mean you embody it. Just because you connect to an energy does not mean you integrate it in your body. So this is the difference.
Just to expand on that, because I do exactly the same thing every time I ground. I imagine energy coming up from the core into my root, and then I also imagine the diamond light coming through my crown. And it's a visualization where I imagine the energy sort of filling my being. So how do we know if we are connecting or grounding? What's the difference? And again, is this something we would just ask our body?
It can be very subtle, dear ones, because with the type of visualization and meditation you are describing, there can be a very gentle, slow embodiment that is occurring with this connection. Because you are envisioning it coming into your body, there is an opportunity for embodiment to occur. And this can be a sudden embodiment. This can take years and years. It simply depends on how you are working with the energy, how you are wired, etc. you may not always realize or feel whether or not you are embodying or simply connecting, because it can be so subtle over time that you do not recognize it, or because the wiring that you have is not sensitive to these types of feelings. So this is different for everyone. I thank you, dear ones, and I invite you to play with this, so to speak, to experiment, to talk with your body, to ask your I am presence to guide your body in this experience. This is something that will become more and more prevalent amongst humanity. This is something that will be more and more obvious as you learn to understand the messages from your bodies. This is, for most of you, just beginning. And so if you are unsure or do not have clarity, do not worry, dear ones. This is a learning process. I'm simply bringing this to your awareness so that you can learn and so that you can have this in mind when you are meditating, when you are working with grounding. I thank you, dear ones. Okay, very interesting. It's always a journey here.